Hello, guys. This is Aishwarya Upadhyay, and welcome to my vlog for Prasoon Prakash, where we are going to discuss about his journey, about his explorations, about his experiences. He has been a person who has experienced academics in India as well as in the US, and he is back in India for pursuing his master's in data science. I personally interacted with him during my master's in India with Scalar, and I found him to be a very interesting guy. So I thought let us call him for this small interaction, and we can have a very wonderful discussions with him. So welcome, Prasoon. We are very happy to
Thank
have you
you.
here.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Thanks a
So
lot for having me here.
yeah, it's a pleasure, Prasoon. A very rare kind of a profile that you have coming from a non-computer science background and transitioning yourself to a data science career. What drives you to data science, and how has your journey been so far? Where did you complete your graduation? Where did you do your post grad, and why again a master's in data science?
I come from an entirely non-tech background, to be honest. And I didn't have any clue that there is something called as machine learning and artificial intelligence until like 2 years back or something.
Okay.
So I actually started with a certificate course in cognition neuropsychology. And then I was very much sure that I want to get into the field of research. And even the course that I'm pursuing right now is some or the other way inclined or intended towards pursuing research or merging the already known domain, what I have the knowledge of, and the data science work that I'll be doing, merging all of them together. So uh, realizing that I want to get into the field of research, I started with my bachelor's in life sciences, chemistry, botany, zoology from University of Delhi. Then
Okay, University of
I wrote
Delhi.
two of
So you did
yes,
your
I did
sorry
my
to interrupt you. I just will keep asking you a few questions whenever I have them.
sure.
Okay, so you mentioned that you did something about uh, about botany, chemistry, and all these things. Can you explain a little bit to our
Uh,
audience? They might not be familiar with what all these things are and what does a bachelor in it actually means.
okay. So let me start from the beginning. The certificate course that I did was in cognition neuropsychology. So that was a first-hand experience of understanding of how we think and how we process the information. And moreover, it was neuropsychology. It was not just psychology. It had a background of neurobiology as well. But it was just a mere certificate course. I was sure that I want to include all the domains from science as well as humanities. So, but at the same time, I wanted to have a very solid background of biology and chemistry. One of the
Okay.
professors had told me years back that if you're from mathematics background, all you need to know is just mathematics. If you're
Yeah.
from physics, you need to know mathematics because maths become the language of physics. If you're
Yeah.
from chemistry, then you need to know physics and maths as well. If you're from biology, you need to know everything. So
Okay.
that's how I started with my bachelor's in life sciences, which is chemistry, botany, zoology. It is the typical CBZ or like whenever we have to diverge and after class 10, it's either science or commerce or arts. So
Yeah.
from science, there are domains in science which goes either towards maths and so-called non-maths or biology. So here, biology actually has two major domains outside. That's very much a generalized umbrella term, which is after coming into research, I realized that there are almost 13 to 14 subdomains in it. But okay, for a very naive person, it can be botany and zoology and chemistry as one of the other subjects that I had for my bachelor's. So it
Okay.
was kind of majoring in all the three. It was a program course that I did from Ramjas College, University of Delhi.
Okay.
I after that, during my bachelor's, I was pretty much keen into getting into medicine as most of the students in India are. If you have
Yeah.
taken up biology, then you would be wanting to pursue medicine. Or if you have taken mathematics, you would be wanting to pursue IIT or engineering per se.
Correct. That's the
But
general
after
trend.
having, yes, that's the general norm, I would say, but it's
Yeah.
changing, thankfully.
Yeah.
Um, I was from 2012 to 2016, I had 4 years of medical leave, during
Okay.
which I realized that maybe I do not fit in very well in the industry of clinical treatment kind of stuff. I fit in more towards research. That's when I
Okay.
asked some of the doctors, some of the senior residents whom I were in contact with, that I want to get into the field of neuroscience research, because that's how the medical treatment journey gave me a kind of insight that this is my inner calling, that this is what I really wish to do in my life.
Okay. So I would like to
So,
interrupt you here. I would like you to explain what exactly this neuro entire term means. If you were to explain this to a 13-year-old, how would you explain this entire thing before we actually get into this in details?
okay. So if I say we barely understand our brain.
Mm-hmm.
We think we do. We think we can trust ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not very sure if we can really trust ourselves or our brain per se. Today we'll have some kind of emotion. The other day we'll be having some different kind of emotions.
Yeah.
We go through a lot of ups and downs. The kind of external factors pitch in, and so our mood changes. Many a
Yeah.
times our mood goes in sync with the external factors. Sometimes we are just happy for no reason.
Yeah.
There are
Correct.
lots that we barely understand ourselves. We say we do, but we don't. As such, language, if you just say, is a method how we express ourselves.
Yeah.
But many a times we rarely know how to express ourselves pretty well. So understanding the brain for a general human is very difficult.
Yeah.
Understanding the nitty-gritty of how our brain works
Mm-hmm.
is way more complex.
Yes. So
How it
that is what
processes
you
the
studied,
information. So that's what I started aiming for.
aiming for. Okay.
So yes, in 2015, around that time, I was like, this is what I wish to do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was a reason why the medical journey that I had for my own treatment purposes made me feel like in the field of neuroscience, the treatment availability is very short. Like there are just bunch of medications available, the therapies. Like overall, if I say there are still we have progressed a lot, but the kind of expectations that we have in 2023, just like for any other disorder or any other like department of medicine, either
Mm-hmm.
it be orthopedics or it be cardiology, we have lots of treatment possibilities available over there. But when it comes to neuroscience versus psychiatry, the treatment possibilities are very limited. Therapies don't really go in very much sync with medicines. There are a lot of factors that come
What
into
what is the
play.
kind of people you're talking about when you're talking about therapies and treatments?
Um, it's a huge umbrella term, I would say.
Yeah,
From
that's fine.
basic mood disorders to personality disorders, from schizophrenia to OCD to depression to cluster B or cluster 2 psychiatric disorders. Either it can be several personality disorders that have been stated in the DSM-4, DSM-5, eating disorders. There are multiple disorders, and we have
Okay.
very limited treatment possibilities available.
Okay.
So that uh, I just felt like this is what I really wish to do in my life. I
Okay,
wish to
great.
get into the field of research. And
Okay.
the first thing that I asked one of the senior residents was, should I really pursue a medicine? Because this is what I wish to do. And he was
Correct.
like, if you're very sure about research, then
Mm-hmm.
getting into medicine, maybe pursuing an MBBS, may not be the right choice. It will
Okay.
divert you,
Yeah.
because there is a specific goal to pursuing an MBBS. The goal is treatment.
Yeah.
It's not directed towards research in India, I would say. It's not the same across the globe. But in India, MBBS is very much directed towards treatment. It's
Okay.
less of likely that you would be pursuing a research during your undergrad in MBBS, which is an
Yes,
undergrad degree.
yes, yes.
Very
In
few
India,
institutes in India even have it.
I've seen even the doctors, those who are, MD in medicine also, they are mostly into treating people rather than going into the medicine and researching about those. I mean, I see very less doctors, those who take up that path.
Many do.
Just give me a second. There's some glitch.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Oh, you're not
Sorry,
audible.
there
Oh,
was a
okay.
small glitch.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Uh, they do, but the point is, there's a whole domain to get into. Let's not get into that domain
Yes, yes,
anyway.
correct. So this was about
So
your master's. Sorry, this
no,
was about a
this was
bachelor's.
even before that.
Even before your bachelor's.
Yes, I asked this question even before my bachelor's. So
Okay.
this all happened while I was actually preparing. I had my medical leave ongoing, and
Mhm.
I was preparing for the NEET entrance exam, as we call it.
Yeah.
And I was enrolled at Akash Varanasi at that point of time,
Okay.
and I was good at it. It wasn't a problem that I'll not get into. The test series that we usually had, like Akash, All India test series of Akash, I was under 100. So
Okay.
I was in that key, I won't get it. But the point was, do I really wish to do that? And at the
Mhm.
point of time, when a few of the doctors, when I asked them, and they were like, if you're very sure, then this might not be the right pathway to go for.
Yeah.
It was too much for me to handle because I had thought of pursuing an MBBS since like my childhood. And then all of a
Okay.
sudden, someone says that this is not the right thing that you should be doing if you are very keen into research. I was like, fair enough. So I started with my bachelor's in life
Okay.
sciences, and I chose life sciences purposefully instead of choosing an honors course because I was wanting to get hold of the basic sciences entirely, like
Okay. What
botany
does life
entirely.
sciences actually means? I mean, if somebody was a very new person, maybe this guy is just in 11, 12, somebody like the guy you were when you were to take a decision whether should I be going ahead and pursuing for MBBS or whether it should be a life sciences course. I mean, how does a person get to know what exactly this is, life sciences? This is a very new term for many of us.
Okay, so life science is science of life, in simple terms. So anything, everything that is pertaining to life and the basics of how life works
Mhm.
is contained in it. So in life sciences, although I say it was just botany, zoology, chemistry, botany, which is pertaining to plants, zoology, animals, zoon means animals. Chemistry is the basics of the chemical reactions or whatever that goes on a molecular level is pertaining to chemistry. But that's not it.
Yeah.
I studied all the contemporary subjects, whether it be biochemistry, immunology, enzymology, animal biotechnology, like almost entirely. There were courses for all the 3 years where I studied the entire life science. That was not it. I was wanting to have good hands-on or at least knowledge of the domain of humanities because I knew that
Okay.
this is what I wish to pursue later. So I at the same time with my regular BSc life science, I was also pursuing BA psychology from IGNOU.
In BSc life sciences
Uh,
along with BA in psychology.
yes,
Oh my God. This is
but this
mind
BA
blowing.
psychology, this BA psychology was just for the sake of knowledge.
Hmm.
I had nothing to do with the degree. I never
Yeah. Okay.
required it. So I did that for first 2 years and I just wanted it. So I just wrote it in my resume as audit. At least I had the knowledge of what is the basics of psychology for the two
Yeah.
years I
Correct.
studied that. And after in my second year of my bachelor's, I was again skeptical. Like, should I be pursuing an MBBS after my BSc?
Okay.
The same question came in because I had that in my head going all
Okay.
over me. So I wrote to a few professors at the Indian Institute of Science. And they were like,
IIT Bangalore,
why do
you
you,
mean to say?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Uh, And they were like, why are you so keen in pursuing an MBBS? How will it even help you?
Yeah.
Uh, I was just mad at myself. Just I wanted to pursue an MBBS because that's what I thought all of my life. But again, I wrote another question like, okay, fair enough. If not MBBS, then how will I gain the knowledge that I need to know, the clinical knowledge that I may want to use? They were like, if you just want the knowledge, you can just get it either through textbooks or through personal experience or through working with the clinicians in collaboration. But for that, you don't need to pursue an MBBS
Okay.
just for the sake of the knowledge that the domain knowledge that you need. I was like, fine. Then the second question that I had from them was, okay, after BSc, since it's a 3 years program, can I pursue my master's in the UK? They were like,
Okay.
oh, the cost of living would be so much. Even if you get a fully funded program, you will never be able to afford it. So I was like,
Okay.
forget it. Then
Okay.
they stated that pursue a master's from India, at least from a reputed institute, and then see wherever you wish to go.
Okay.
Then I was like, okay, forget the MBBS thing. Let me start preparation for the entrance exam for the institutes that we have in India for masters.
Okay.
Then I started my preparation from IIT JAM, which is Joint Admission Test for MSc at IAC and IITs.
Okay.
In 2019, I appeared for that and I scored a rank of 12, All India rank 12.
Okay.
And after that, I had offers from IIT Bangalore for integrated PhD
Okay.
and MSc from IIT Bombay.
Okay.
I again went and met the same professors whom I had written years back
Yeah.
that this is what I have now. Now, what do you want? Should I pursue an integrated PhD or should I pursue an MSc?
Yeah.
They were like, the kind of work you wish to do, barely anyone does in India. And
Okay.
therefore, they advised me to join IIT Bombay instead
Okay.
of IISc. And like, let's not just don't get entangled into biotech. Get what you need and leave, and look forward to pursuing whatever you wish to.
So, what was your goal
So,
of enrolling at IIT Bombay in terms of like the curriculum that they had, and how did it help you uh, in terms of your final goal?
so I had landed upon one of the profiles of one of the professors who had done MD PhD, which
MD?
is in the US. MD PhD in the US.
Okay.
Uh, Unlike India, the curriculum, the way medicine is pursued in the US is way, way different, like very different.
Yeah.
Here in India, you go after class 12. It's just an entrance exam. You just clear it and you're done. Over the US, it's very, very different. You do an undergrad, which is called the pre-med for 4 years. After that, you appear for, there is an MCAT that you have to appear for, medical common aptitude test, which is very different from the kind of entrance we give in India. It's
Okay.
not based on root memorization. It's very different. And it's just not that. You have to write an SOP. You have to show research profile, that you have a pretty good research profile. Your statement of purpose has to be very strong. Your CPI or the CGPA in your undergrad has to be strong enough. And there are a lot many factors. You have to appear for interviews, and that's how they do look for your motivation, that why do you
Okay.
wish to get into medicine. So that's how there are two basic tracks, like three basic tracks. There is just plain MD. After undergrad you go for. There is another one that is MD PhD, which is clubbed with a PhD, where you have some 8 to 9 years of program, 7 to 8 years or whatever. And then there is the MD MBA program.
MD?
MD PhD is MBA.
MBA. Okay.
So you can, yeah, so you can go for like something more of an entrepreneurship kind of stuff
Okay.
after
Okay.
being a full-fledged clinician as well. So I knew about that. I just landed upon one of the professors' profile from Yale OCD Research Clinic, and that's how I
Yale.
got to know about, yeah, that's how I got to know about the whole domain of MD PhD.
Okay.
And I wanted to work in the field of translational psychiatry. Translational means something, whatever the research we are doing in the lab can actually directly be translated to humans.
Humans.
Like most, So most of the research that is being done on a molecular level or on the animal model, it's very difficult to anthropomorphize, which is like extrapolating the results on humans. It's not that straightforward.
Okay,
It
so
takes
the kind of experiments you perform on non-humans and you try to translate them onto the humans.
it's very
Extrapolate.
difficult.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's not very straightforward.
Okay.
It's not that straightforward, obviously. So I was wanting to work in the field of translational studies, which can actually be translated directly to humans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult to do that in India. And
Yeah.
that is what I discussed with them, that this is what my goal is. They
Okay.
stated that India would be a difficult choice for you.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that is why they advised me to go for MSc only instead of an integrated PhD. I
Okay.
also appeared for a few more interviews. So IISc wasn't direct admission, like entrance exam and a direct admission.
Mm-hmm.
I had to appear before a panel of 12 to 13 professors for the
Okay.
interview. Yeah, I could clear that.
Great.
Second, I appeared for a few more interviews. Like one of them was at IISer Pune. Unfortunately, they in the middle of the interview they said that we do not offer an MSc exit, and that's how the interview ended.
Okay.
So MSc only was being offered at IIT Bombay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
most only the IITs that was there. Other institutes they were offering integrated PhD. So I deferred. I did not go to IISc. I chose IIT Bombay.
Okay. And that
But that was
course
not
name was
that was biotechnology.
biotechnology and MSc in biotechnology.
Yes, although
Okay.
it was biotech, but I studied almost everything. So we had 30 plus courses in the batch that I came in. So I started my master's in 2019, but I had to take 1 year of medical leave all over again in 2019. So I rejoined IIT Bombay in 2020.
Okay.
And the 2020 curriculum DBT had pitch in all of a sudden from nowhere. And the
What is
curriculum
DBT?
was changed. Department of Biotechnology,
Acha, okay.
Government of India.
Okay.
So before that, IIT Bombay usually has its own curriculum.
Uh-huh.
But for the first time, Department of Biotech gave a curriculum which all the institutes in India had to follow.
Okay.
It was an extremely comprehensive syllabus, but the problem was IIT wasn't prepared for it.
I think you
So
must have enjoyed this entire thing because it was all new and you are a person who likes to know about everything. So this is something
yes,
that
but it was overwhelming.
yeah.
It was overwhelming because we were taking 10 courses in one semester. The first
Okay.
semester we had like 10 courses. Overall, during my master's, I took 30 plus courses.
Oh
And
my
that was
God.
the basic problem with the DBT curriculum. That was hell packed. It was really, really jam packed.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like an experiment batch. But
Oh,
the best part of it was we had some amazing courses that later on got discontinued, but we had some amazing courses. Some of them like bio entrepreneurship. IPR
okay.
is obviously there as an
What is
elective, but we
IPR?
had it as a intellectual property rights.
Okay, okay, that part. Okay. I thought there's just some
Yes.
this is some subject in the biotech. So I asked
No,
you.
these are all general subjects like bio entrepreneurship, which was taken not by our department, but was taken by
Some IIM.
DSSC, the basic. No, there are faculty in IIT Bombay which are taking up courses in entrepreneurship.
Oh,
So
okay.
we had courses from that. We had courses from environmental science is a compulsory subject. So that was also taken up by almost three professors from three different departments: philosophy, sociology, and economics.
Okay.
I had exposure from various different domains, like some of the professors, one of the professors from chemical engineering taught us.
Mm-hmm.
We were taught by like many different courses that come in, like molecular diagnostics, critical analysis of classical papers, which was like choosing one specific domain, analyzing the research papers critically, and presenting insights before a review committee. It
Okay.
was very much research oriented.
That's what you
So
were
yeah,
looking for, right?
yes, and I really
Okay.
enjoyed. I mean, one of the best part of IIT Bombay, which I loved, was there was hardly any route memorization.
Yeah.
There was hardly any. So I barely remember to have read textbooks in my 2 years of masters.
What was the
Hardly
methodology?
ever.
I mean, what is it that made your professors at IIT Bombay different from at any other institute that you have studied?
Open-minded,
Okay.
understanding that it's all about thought process.
It's all
It's not
about
about knowing thought process, how you
thought
think,
process. Yes.
how you think. They were least concerned about how much you know because Google is there. We can just,
Yes.
most of our exams were open book, open internet, at least for my batch. So it was mostly open book, open internet exam. But the thing was application. Most of the professors, in fact, one of the professors, she used to teach us in a way that was like, even if I teach you hundreds of things today, you're going to forget it the next year. You will never remember. So there's no point teaching something that you're going to forget. But you need to know if you're, because research is like you are trying to put in a torch in a dark room. You have no clue what you just know what you're searching for, but you do not know where you're going to get the answer. One
Yeah.
of the slides which she showed us in the class was like the theory that we had for one of the concept in biology is called central dogma, which is like DNA to RNA, RNA to proteins. So the entire methodology, there are multiple steps involved in that. So one of the experiments and the results she showed us from some of the 100 years old textbook, the same Bible as we call Leninger as the Bible of biochemistry.
Okay.
So the concept was different. New research came in, and today we have an entirely different concept.
Yeah.
So her methodology was science is ever evolving. Nothing is absolute. Whatever you study in the textbook is not absolute. So
Yeah.
take everything with a pinch of salt. Just because
Okay.
you're reading a research paper, a scientist has done some work, and you're reading a research paper, that does not mean that it is the absolute truth. So understanding that there is a difference between a result and inference. There is an observation, there is an experiment that so based on the observation, we hypothesize something.
Yes.
We perform a few experiments to check whether the hypothesis is correct or not. And
True.
then based on that, we get some results, and then we infer out of it. So there is a difference between inference and result. The result is something that we are getting, which is something which speaks for itself. Inference has a lot of biased views. So understanding all these differences, critically analyzing a paper, understanding the difference in a point of view, taking things objectively. So a basic statement, if I'm just a little exaggeration, it would be like a lot exaggeration, it would be, but not wrong either. Just because a Nobel laureate says doesn't mean that you have to follow it.
Yeah.
That statement in itself is a very exaggerated statement, though. But the point was that's what my training at IIT Bombay was. It was all
It
research
made you
based,
open-minded.
kind of, because most of the professors, like taking 30 courses, being taught by different professors, different mindsets, different approach,
And with a
everyone
very less
brilliant in
amount
their
of
own little
time.
things. It was a very less amount of time, actually, yes, very
Yeah.
less amount of time. And in very small batches, because during your BTech you have like huge batch, like a huge batch. But and during masters you have very little small batches. My class size was some 15 max to max. It used to go, some BTechs used to be there, or some PhDs used to be there. So another important factor was everyone is on the same page. Either it be a BTech or an MTech, MSc or PhD, all are in the same class. There is no hierarchy. At least at IIT Bombay, there was no hierarchy.
Okay.
We
So
all
whether you come
you,
from GATE or you come from your for that GP mat, what is the name of the mat? Um, for masters in MSc in IIT Bombay,
the IIT Jam,
IIT
IIT
Jam.
Jam,
Sorry,
joint and yeah,
joint. Yeah,
that's
IIT
okay.
Jam. And whether it is from GATE or IIT Jam, it doesn't matter. All of them are treated equally
Oh,
at IIT Bombay.
yes, in fact, nobody cares. Like one of the professors told me once you're here, you are the same for us. No matter whether you are rank 1 or rank 100 or rank 200. or even
Okay.
2000. Nobody cares. At least that
Okay.
I can just say of my department, of my institute, of IIT
Okay.
Bombay, because every IIT is different. Their culture is different. I can talk about my department and my institute.
Mhm.
The culture used to be like, it hardly matters. We don't care.
Okay.
And we only care about your enthusiasm. We care about you have come here with your through your potentials, and now it's our duty to make things or help you learn, to support you in every single way so that you can learn and progress in your life.
I think that's what
So
really makes the people at IIT stand out. I mean,
possibly,
the kind of teaching methodology they go through and the kind of environment that they go through is way too different than the rote learning that happens in most of the institutes that I have personally experienced of.
I can say because I have done my bachelor's from University of Delhi, so I know it really well. Things are very different, like
Very
very,
different.
very different. For
Okay.
example, one of my professors used to say during our practical classes was like, if anything goes wrong in the instrument, the first thing I will point out would be human error. What mistake I made before I actually start blaming the instrument and all the other things.
Okay.
Because even if everything is perfect, humans make a lot of errors. So understanding that we can make mistakes, understanding that we can also be at fault, understanding that we do not know everything, that that's something that I understood over there.
Great.
A huge difference in the thought process. I would say there was an entire shift in how I used to think before and how I got to engage and think after that. There was a very big shift. IIT Bombay was a very different environment. So yeah, BTechs usually used to be like fourth years or third years that used to study with us because we used to have like 4 or 5 level courses. So final year or pre-final BTechs used to take that. MTech students used to take a few of our courses, and some other PhD first year students, or if they wanted to have a course work, so they used to take our courses. Everyone was studying together. There was no difference, no hierarchy as such. Everyone was the same. Most of the courses we had done in our bachelors, it was kind of a repeat, but the methodology, the thought process, everything was way, way, way different. The exams were very different. The exams were open book, open internet. It was application based. It was thought based. Think whatever you have understood, learned, apply in real life in the experiment situation. If you have been given a random situation, how would you apply the already taught knowledge in that situation and come up with something that is either innovative? And if not innovative, how would you apply? The application was more important there. So during my master's, I also did a few courses by going out of the box. I did a course in movement neuroscience.
Okay.
I
So
took a course
for
in
masters,
computational neuroscience.
I think for masters we'll have to have another session because
Okay.
I would want to cover a lot more details about your bachelor's first because I would like to be deep diving into your masters in the later session. Okay, so let's continue
Okay.
with your IIT Bombay experience. Okay, because we have gone too deep into the academics of IIT Bombay, I would also like to ask you about your experience as a person who used to stay at the hostels and who used to be with other people, those who study at IIT Bombay. What was the difference that you have experienced in terms of the peers that you get at IIT Bombay and the hostel life and the food and everything? We just have like 4 more minutes. So let us complete that section before we
Yeah.
move to the next
Okay.
one.
Okay. So obviously, one of the things, the hostels, I loved the food. Honestly, I did. I was staying for my second year in the PhD hostels for some reason, which is not usually given to the MSc students, but I was there along with the MTech students and PhD students. I loved the food in the PhD hostels. It was amazing. Um, there's a lot I can go on for that, but let's not get into that. Second thing regarding the peers, network is your net worth. Something I realized. So it was not just academic journey for me. I knew that I want to extract the best out of IIT Bombay. So I was working as a part of the placement team for both the years. For
Okay.
the first year, I was there as a part. as a internship coordinator of the core placement team.
Mhm.
I was working along with the BTechs and the MSCs towards placement, as well as for internships as a single point of contact. It was a lot of work. The later year, I was working as a PhD placement coordinator, which I worked for almost 4 or 5 months. After that, I resigned because of the workload. Then I was also working as a part of, like, as a NSS volunteer, as I was teaching as a part of the NSS volunteer for class 11th and 12th, and
Okay.
initially class 9th, 10th students. One of the things about the peers I would say is, yes, it was way more competitive when it comes to University of Delhi experience. It was quite competitive,
Mhm.
but it was enriching. There was a
Okay.
lot to learn from the peers, but not just from the peers. One thing was, there was a lot to learn from the diversity. There was a lot to learn from the BTechs. There was a lot to learn from the MTechs. There was a lot to learn from the PhDs.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
is a very big strength of the institute and the hostel, because you get to interact with anyone and everyone, like anyone and everyone. That was the very big plus point of IIT Bombay, that you're not bound by hierarchy. So
Great.
you are interacting, and that gives you can actually discuss your ideas, your thought process with a very large audience. Some of them are very much interested and passionate about science. Some of
Mhm.
them are figuring out why they chose IIT, or why did they even choose engineering. There were many students who were just not sure why did they even come there. And there were many who were very much passionate. There were PhD students who were pursuing research, and they had their own journey. Since I had a 1.5 years of research journey at IIT Bombay, so that was a very big changer again. But yeah, it was brilliant. It was enriching. But yes, some or the other way, life was a little compromised when it comes to University of Delhi. I enjoyed a lot more in the university than at institute. There was a lot many opportunities for enjoyment at IIT, but because there was just lack of shortage of time, so I just tried to extract the maximum I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, it was an amazing experience to hear from your journey. I would love to, again hear it again and again from you till the time we have hear from you about all your experience. For this session, I think this is all what we could cover. We'll again have you. We would love to have it, and we'll also take questions from our audience, and then come back to you for the next session. Thank you so much,
So
Prasoon.
thank
It has
you.
been great to interact with you.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.